I got into brewing because I studied food science and chemistry in school, and brewing brings together all those scientific concepts, but also links creativity to it. So I really enjoyed the brewing process once I learned about it and the creative aspects of it.
I started just making beer on my mom's kitchen stove when I was about 17. Beer is not like it's not like making Mac computers. Not everybody can just anyone can do it out of their garage. I guess only Steve Jobs could do it in his garage, but it's anybody can do it. But to do it well and to really know it inside and out, it's a perfect intersection of art and science. So I went to UC Davis to study it in more detail. That tied me to Northern California. And then that's how I found Lagunitas, which at the time was a fraction of the size that it is now. Lagunitas that I met then produced in a year what it produces in about a week. That was in 2002. And that was basically how I got into beer making.
Here in Chicago, we execute against many of the already developed recipes for Lagunitas, such as IPA, Little Something. We've actually brewed 26 different beers here in Chicago in just under the 2 years that we've been open. This year we actually did get to do some really cool one-off beers, some fusion brews, and we're looking forward to doing more of those in the future as they allow a little bit more creativity here in Chicago. Farms are really important to the brewing process, and especially here at Lagunitas, because we get many of our raw materials from them. We have many barley farmers in Alberta, Canada, that are growing our two-row, and that's a huge part of our brewing process. It makes up the majority of our grain bills, and we actually have a very unique program we have a very unique program that our farmers are a part of called the Chinook Arch program, and that's something that's very unique to Lagunitas. And then we also have our hop farmers, which if anyone has ever tasted our beers, you know that hops are extremely important to us. And we work hand in hand with the hop farmers in Yakima, Washington, to develop some really amazing hops to bring great aroma and bitterness to our beers.
The farmer is absolutely key to beer. When you think about what is beer, it's 90+% water, but the whole rest of it, all those other makeups that really give it its character and its soul, is all we owe the farmer for all of that. So that's the barley, wheat, oats, rye, any other cereal grain, and the hops. Those are all agricultural products that have a farmer behind each and every one of them. We built our relationships with the farmer gradually by growing in size and needing to use more and more barley, more and more hops. Eventually you get to a point where the specifications that you need deals with you talking directly to a specific farmer, and in our case, now those farmers are talking to all their friends and their farmers' friends, because our needs alone can't be supplied by just one farmer anymore. So for instance, Simcoe, it's a hop that's very important to Lagunitas beer and craft beer in general. It used to be farmed by 3 farmers: the Carpenters, the Smiths, and the Peralts. Those were the 3 farmers. Now we're up to 30 more farmers and counting. I wish I could name those 30 names, and I should be able to do that, but that's all happened in just the past few years, and the biggest reason of that is the growth of breweries like Lagunitas. There are instances where you look at a hop such as, say, Centennial, and you need to tell the farmer, put this in the ground for me. I need you to grow Centennial. And farmer says back, I don't want to grow Centennial because it's a lousy yield. And you say, let's divide this up. Let's do the cost of the land, how much it's going to cost you to grow it, and let's figure out what price that needs to be so that you want to grow it and that everyone walks away with what they want. So sometimes we do tell the farmers what to do, but for the most part, they seem to know by responding, and because they're having direct access to brewers, there's conversations flowing where they're actually learning what brewers want, and they're very, very keen on the farmer who is uninterested in what a brewer wants, his farm will just fall by the wayside. There's a lot of other ways in which brewers influence farmers in a healthy way, but outside of just what to plant. There's also when to harvest what they've planted. Hops are unique in that they develop a lot of their spirit in the final 7 days before harvest. And if you wait too long, they might get a little bit too much of a spirit. They might get too pungent or develop a character that is, to one brewer, undesirable, but to another brewer, desirable. So the farmers and the brewers maintain this dialogue so that each one gets what they want and knows what the other one wants. For the longest time, the model for both barley and hops was that all the brewers just kind of bought from a merchant, and the merchant served as the middleman that prevented the actual brewer from ever really needing to know his farmer. It's only relatively recent that the brewers have become very, very interested in, hey, who are the guys that are growing the things that make my beer what it is? And I wouldn't say the merchant gets in the way of that. In terms of a little guy, the merchant provides a much needed role. But for a big brewer, not only do you need to know quite a few farmers to provide your needs, you need to be talking to them on a regular basis, or your beer won't be what it is you want it to be. Certainly with the core, we've built beyond a family relationship. I mean, I can name whole families right down to their kids of hop generations and hop families. Same thing's true in Canada, where our barley farmers are. You typically, when you meet these farmers, you meet first the patriarch, and then the son, and then oftentimes the grandson, and you get to watch them all grow. And the nice thing about craft is that because we're offering a sustainable price, and that's a price for which we can afford to pay, and which they can sell it to us and still make money as a farmer. But no one's getting a deal. It's just that's what a sustainable price is. It's just a price which both parties walk away from feeling good. Most of the time, they do plant stuff that they know exactly what they're going to get for it, and for that reason, through the virtue of things like contracts and multi-year contracts, where you agree, I'm going to take everything off this plot of land for the next 5 years, their sons and daughters are getting back into the family business. So the number of hop farms went from in the hundreds down to probably around 30 in the 70s, and now that number's coming back up. But one thing that we see all the way around is that the children who used to leave to go to the big cities, to the universities, and would be doing something that has nothing to do with agriculture, they've all gradually been coming back. I know more than a couple. I can think in my head of more than a couple sons and daughters that started one career path, and in case one of them to be an actor in Los Angeles, and then went back to the family farm to pursue the family art, and probably wouldn't have done that if it hadn't have been for craft brewing and the fact that their farms are becoming profitable again.
Traditionally, the brewing process was actually a woman's job. Many women back in the day, were found were found making beer, while the men were out doing the extremely hard labor jobs of building things and killing things and things of that sort. But now today the brewing industry is a bit more male dominated, and I consider myself very lucky to be in such a high profile role with Lagunitas, to have this head brewer role. And I was definitely had some fantastic role models in my career that enabled me and made me feel like I could do anything I wanted to do. They definitely helped to encourage me and push me along in this career. So I think, I found an industry that I loved and was grateful or was lucky enough to have people that helped me prepare for a career in this industry. Whenever I'm out and about and people ask, what I do for a living, and it is always fun to see their reaction. And to even say that I'm associated with Lagunitas gets an awesome reaction. People are they want to hear more. They want to understand what goes on with this company because it's such an amazing company to work for. We put off such an amazing vibe. We make great beer. So there's a lot of special things that happen here, and it's like you're immediately a rock star to people out at a bar or out at a restaurant. And they number one want to know about Lagunitas. Number two, they want to learn about the brewing process. And number three, they want to know when they can come visit the beers or the brewery. So it's always fun to be out and about talking about Lagunitas.